So today I've decided to do a video about periods, and I thought it was only best to wear my comfies for it because I am actually due for my period today, which is great. So I've got a cheeky cup of tea. I wanted to share my favourite products that I use and also to do a little book review on this book that I recently read called Period Power by Maisie Hill. And it's all amazing, to be honest. I just wanted to dive deep and do a honest talk, as most of my videos have been recently, an honest talk about periods and also normalising it, because I feel like it's such a taboo thing, even though it's natural for half the population to have a period. So yeah. Also, how cute is this setup? My little living room. I have also got my, you can't really see it, but it's my artwork on the wall. I didn't do it, and I feel a little bit vain having my own body on my wall at home, but I love it too much, so I am obsessed with them, and I feel like it works with like the aesthetic of the room. We're gonna dive deep. This book, amazing. I actually saw it, I had heard about it briefly before, and then I saw it on my friend Katie Newell, on her bookshelf, because she's learning about midwifery. So I thought actually I want to give it a read, because I recently came off hormonal contraception. I now don't have any contraception, which is a little bit scary. So I wanted to learn more about my body, because I haven't had a actual natural period for before I came off anyway. 4 or 5 years, which is insane. So yeah, I wanted to learn more, and this book I feel like is going to be my Bible for period, and hormones and anything. I would recommend it for anyone who's a menstruator, as Maisie put it, and it's made me understand my body so much more. Even this cycle that I've just coming to the end of, I feel like I've actually been more in touch and been able to do things that benefit because of the period of time that I'm doing it. So basically, Maisie splits the your menstrual cycle into seasons. So you have spring, summer, autumn, winter, and I feel like it's so easy to understand it. And the way she talks through everything, she talks about what it means when you have long periods, when you have short periods, when you have heavy or painful, when you have light. She talks about everything, so it's literally a good book for whatever stage in life you are. If you've had menopause, if you've already gone through menopause, she talks about that and how you carry on past menopause. She talks about before you've even had your first period. She talks about when you've had your first period and the trauma that you can have, and memories of your period, and talking to people about your period, and contraception and conceiving and sex and just everything. Everything is in this book, hence why I've also tabbed, even though I need to tab more, so much so that then I can just come back to this book. I think this is definitely one of my books that I would recommend to a friend, and I would love to borrow it to a friend, but I don't think I could, because I need it. I used to, when I started my period, I used to have really painful periods, really painful. I would throw up from how painful they were. If I had paracetamol, I'd throw up because I was my stomach didn't like it. I would end up crying because the pain was so bad. I remember 2012, the Olympics, we went to the Paralympics, and I came on my period and I spent most of the time in the toilet crying because it was so painful. So I ended up going to the doctor and to help with the pain from my periods, and also because I was getting to an age where I was like thinking about sex and everything else. I ended up going on the pill. So I started my period really young. I say really young, it's different for everyone, but I know that my period started before like a lot of my friends. I started my period before year 7. So I was in between, it was literally the summer between year 6 and year 7, so that is, I think I was 12, or no. So year 6 you go from 11 to 12, and then year 7 you start when you're 12. So I must have been 12. But I remember starting year 7 and a lot of the girls hadn't started their period yet. So it was hard, like quite hard when you've already gone through it, and can't really talk to other people about it. But I know you get it from your mum and what she's gone through. So I know that I will experience some of the things she experiences in terms of like when I give birth and everything else, some of the complications or the advantages she had, I will most likely have just through genetics. And yeah, so I went on the pill in 2012 or 2013, I can't remember. And it kind of helped with the pain, but I had to change pills a lot of the time because they just weren't agreeing with me. I had a lot of mood swings. I mean, you're going through puberty anyway, like your hormones are all over the place. Plus add a hormonal pill to that. My hormones were all over the place. So I was on the pill during uni. Yep, I was on the pill during uni. I started a relationship during uni with my then boyfriend, and we had a conversation, and the pill is, I think it's 92% effective. So we had a conversation about contraception, which is very healthy to do. So I decided to get the implant because it was 99.9 or whatever it is. It's a ridiculous amount of effectiveness, and it would just be in my arm and I wouldn't have to think about it for 3 years. And compared to with the pill, because I stress a lot, I was stressed if it was like even 10 minutes past the time. So I decided to go on the implant. I was on the implant for 2.5 years. At the end, so I didn't get periods during the time of my implant. Most of the time I would have a period like once every 3 to 6 months. It depended. It would randomly come and then it would last like 10 days, which felt really long for me. And I didn't know when it was going to happen, and it was just a lot. But I was like thankful that I didn't have a period on like every single month. But at the end, so I didn't notice any hormonal difference, although my family apparently did, until the 3rd year, which would have been this year. So I got it 2 years ago in January, and it would have been January 2021 that I was supposed to have it removed, but I had it removed this year in June. The reason why I had it removed is because I freaked out a lot this year because my breasts grew like a lot, and they were so tender, like it would hurt. So I didn't wear a bra a lot of the time, but it would literally hurt to even put anything on them. So like whether it was top or a bra, it was so painful and tender, like even to slightly touch them, like anything that passed by, like, oh, it was horrible. And then my boobs also started like lactating, at least I think so. It was a lot. So I decided like I didn't need that in my life. I was also getting really depressive thoughts, and obviously if you've seen my 2020 review year, which I will link if you haven't, then you'll know that like a lot happened this year, but I was just like, I didn't want to add hormones to everything else that I was going through. So coming to the end of my little story time, I came off the implant. I was actually, it sounds so weird to say, but I was actually so looking forward to my first period, because I was really excited to finally know and feel everything that was going on, like that I could feel in touch again with what's going on in my body. So I actually really look forward to it. And then I was kind of reminded why I shouldn't be excited about it. My like first period when it was normal, and then since then I've had 2 really heavy, really painful periods, and I've spoken to the doctors, and they weren't all that helpful. Basically said, what contraception are you on? And I said that I'm doing natural cycles, which is like you measure your temperature every day, so it can track when you ovulate, and then from then you can work out when you're going to have your period, because it's 14 days after you ovulate. And she was offering me something that would stop the bleeding, which then again felt unnatural, because then that's just like pausing the problem. It's not finding out why I have such heavy periods. So anyway, hence why I got this book. I still need to investigate that, but yeah. And period products that I love. So my first one is Daye. So they're tampons. They basically post them through your door every month, and I found it helpful purely because they've got like CBD ones, which is supposed to help with the pain, and I wanted something a bit more natural. Plus it's really easy, because after being on hormonal contraception for so long, for 2 years I haven't had a proper like period each month. I kind of forget to buy products, which sounds stupid, but I wouldn't want to have to be caught out of not, especially considering it's like heavier at the minute. I wouldn't want to be caught out for not having any products in my house. You do a survey, you write how many CBD tampons you want and how many normal, they say naked tampons you want, whether your flow is light, heavy, light, regular, heavy, how many days you averagely have your period, and then it shows you like the price it is to make and the price that they're charging you. So I think it's really affordable, and you only get a month's supply, so I think it's a lot better. The other products I love are these bad boys. So these are brand new. They are Thinx, Thinx. Great products. They're period knickers, but okay, so the reason I love these, so at night I'm trying to be more sustainable and more aware of the products that I'm using. So period products are like a big thing, especially like sanitary towels, and like reading this book that you hear that there's like bleach and everything else and plastic in sanitary towels, which is what I used to use at least to go to bed anyway. I have now swapped that over with period knickers. I love them and would definitely recommend them, because there are some really nice like styles, and to be honest, they're like pretty sexy. Yeah, so that's my little period talk. I hope you enjoyed this video and it didn't gross you out, because realistically it is natural. We shouldn't feel uncomfortable about it. I feel like we need to talk more about contraception, and like especially being natural. I feel like if you don't take contraception, hormonal contraception, it's like such a big thing and people like freak out if you're not on it. But I think it's weird that it's normal to be on something that changes your hormones. It just doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, so please feel free to share your own stories below, or if you want to ask any questions, then feel free. I'm like an open book. I'm not an expert though, so obviously like I can send you in an expert's direction, but yeah, this is just my own preferences, experiences, and like recommendations. So yeah, please give this a like and subscribe to see more from me. And if you do want to ask any questions or have a talk or anything like that, then my Instagram is @MayaKipping, like everything else. And I will see you guys soon.